Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Christian Galtieri, and I'm with Goal Vision, here to present our webinar on 6 steps to a successful CRM implementation. I hope by the end of this session that you will have gained a little bit more insight into a CRM implementation and some key things to really think about to ensure the success to your project. Just a quick note that I am recording this session, so should you wish to have it as a reference to consult further down the road, that will be made available to you after this session. So jumping into it here, here at Go Vision, we have identified 6 key steps to think about. And these include clearly identifying your goals and what you wish to accomplish in your CRM. Then thinking about the people that will be involved based on those goals. Who are the end users that will be involved? What teams that will come into play? Then thinking about the implementation process and some key items that are important in that process to ensure its success, as well as the data that will be involved in the data import and only the data that you really need that draws insights to your company. Then thinking about the training and how you get end user adoption and engagement from your side. And then finally, just really thinking about the partner and who you wish to go with for a CRM service provider. Now, it's important to note that no two businesses are the same. You will probably have emphasis in a certain area more than others, but it's really important when it comes to your CRM that you're not thinking just for an out-of-a-box solution, and that you really want something that's personalized and tailored to capture all of your business processes to ensure that you're happy. So let's get into it with the first step, which are the goals that you want to accomplish with your CRM. It's really important to actually get a pen and paper out and clearly write these down and identify them with your team. You might already have a CRM in place and it just doesn't feel right. Perhaps there's things that are lacking, but you can't really articulate them. It's really handy if you write them down and really think about that. You may also be with a company that doesn't have a CRM yet, and you now realize it's the right time to get one. And really, it's a time that you can just say, this is what we want to accomplish, so here are our goals. And a really easy way to be able to get these down on paper is to kind of group them into the different areas or functions of your company. So from a sales side, you might get the sales team together and be like, what is it that we need to accomplish from the sales side? Obviously, as salespeople, we always want to increase revenues for the company, but how do we define what that better process might be? Is it that we need a better way of being able to qualify our leads through our lead management or opportunities, that we get some more prosperous opportunities that convert to new business? Perhaps it's having a better visibility on sales activities or the funnel or the forecast. Write these goals down and make them really clear to yourselves as to how you can streamline your sales process. The next area that you may want to consider is around the senior management and having a centralized view for the management to be able to see, okay, what are we doing with our customers? How can I analyze the data of our customers so I can see what's going on along all of the different teams within the company? This sort of increased efficiency at having that sort of lens on your customers will allow for cost savings in the long run for your company. And finally, maybe you want to think of it just from a business process sense, really mapping out that customer journey in your business. Perhaps there's some redundant tasks that you want to automate. Perhaps you're having troubles prioritizing things like customer support tickets or leads or opportunities or marketing campaigns. Having those clearly defined goals broken down into these sections will really help you to understand better when it comes to implementing your CRM and what you want to accomplish. Once those goals have been clearly defined for your teams, the next thing that you want to think about are the people that are going to be involved. And this will start with your internal project team. And really, it's going to consist of, the decision maker, senior management that has the authority on the project, but also what you might call super users or the administrative users that are really going to know all of the processes of your business and know what those goals are and be the day-to-day users of the system. And one thing I'll stress here that's very important is ownership. It's very important to have a point person or people that are going to take ownership of this project, making sure that the users are engaged and using the system that is aligned to those goals that you have. The second thing that you're going to be thinking about is the CRM project team. It's important to ask that CRM provider that you're shopping around for, what's the support like from their team? What does their project team consist of? And, am I going to be getting everything that I need in that process? Here at GoVision, what we have is the concept of a sales handover, where when I'm in the selling process with a client, I bring in one of my colleagues who's an expert consultant so that they can be involved in the scoping and the planning stage of the discovery process. And this really narrows the gap between the project team of your company and ours, and really understanding that expectations that are set in the selling process can be delivered effectively in the implementation process. And a good, effective CRM provider will take the pressure off of you and really help you guide help guide you through your implementation and your project. The last thing when it comes to the people is really thinking about what is going to be the time frame with all of those people being involved. Review and discuss with your CRM provider. Make sure you set the pace. Again, you're the owner of the project. Take ownership of it. You call the shots as to what is most effective for you from a time frame perspective. The next thing that you want to think about is the implementation process. And so this is going back to the goals in stage one and really setting a clear step-by-step schedule to those goals and hitting those project milestones. It's really important from your perspective to pick a CRM partner who has a transparent, phased approach to their implementation. That way it's clearly communicated so that your expectations are met through that whole implementation stage. And ultimately, it allows for user acceptance and adoption down the road. Here at GoVision, we use the implementation stage. Stages at the bottom there where, like I said, there's the scoping and planning stage, and then there's the configuration stage where we're actually customizing the system to how you work. Then there's also the data conversion and refinement, and then importing that data into the system, followed by the user training, and then going live with the post-implementation account management support that's provided afterwards. Let's jump in a little bit more then on that configuration stage in a little bit more detail. With the configuration stage, it's really important now to go back to the people. So both the internal project and the CRM project teams to make sure that things are aligned. But before that, it's really important for the key decision makers and the owners of the project to circle back internally with all of the end users that are going to be part of your CRM, really thinking about mapping those processes out. What is it that we want to accomplish that's aligned with our goals? Where do fields go? What do our drop-down menus look like? What do drop-down options look like? Do we want some customized screens? Do we want to add some streamlined workflow with some alerting and activities? These are all things that you will want to review internally with your colleagues before approaching the CRM project team, because it just makes for a much smoother implementation process when that's already clearly defined and ready to go to communicate to your CRM partner. So keeping those things in mind will, in the end, be very good and lead to a successful project implementation. The next thing that you want to think about is the data. And this is a really, really critical component that can sometimes be looked over. And here at GoVision, we really do believe insight is more important than the quantity of the data. Importing dirty data does not necessarily lead to better outcomes, contrary to what that caricature is on the right. You don't want to get into that mindset. Really think about some key things with the data. The first is around the data sources. How many data sources do we have? Where are these data sources coming from? Can we consolidate them? Can we refine them? That's really important because you really want to draw insights from that data. Having a big data pool is not necessarily a better course of action. The next thing that you want to think about is really around the data structure and the taxonomy. Do you have clearly defined elements to your data? Are they in distinct columns with one item to each column? And really kind of thinking about, is there a better way that we can structure this moving forward when we are implementing our CRM? Really, just reiterating that point, it's the cost versus the benefit of, more data isn't necessarily better. So really keeping that in mind is really good. And ultimately, we found in our experience that it leads to a better user acceptance and outcome if you have clean data that's going in. It makes it much easier, more user-friendly for your end users that are going to be using it. And finally, really need to think about data compliance, data privacy laws, where you're conducting business in the jurisdictions that you're doing business in. It's important, for example, to consider GDPR and what that means for your data. And here at GoVision, we really like to provide that sort of consultative approach with our clients. And if they're struggling to understand their data or what they need from their data, we usually just ask for some samples that we can help guide them as to how to better refine it and what they need to think about before they're importing all of their records into their system. When it comes to training, it's very important that you don't settle for a cookie cutter approach to your training. You want a CRM partner just in these other sort of steps that we've kind of already talked about, where it's a personalized approach to your CRM project. You're wanting to tailor this system to match your processes of your business. It should carry through into the training as well. You want to have somebody that's there that understands how the system's been configured for you and can walk your users through that system. Also, it's very important to ask the provider, do they provide in-person training or is it just remote training? Here at GoVision, we offer both. Obviously, during the pandemic, it's been completely shifted to remote training, but it's very important if you need that in-person touch to the training to make it more interactive for your team. Make sure that you consider that when it comes to the training. The other thing that you're going to want to think about is the training method. Do you feel it's better if it's the train the trainer approach, where the CRM provider is training those super users, giving them all of the tools to be that master administrator, and then training the other teams? Or do you prefer having all trainers on the session so that they can all have direct access to the CRM provider? Again, good things to put down on paper for you to think about when considering a CRM provider. Here at GoVision, I've been involved in some training sessions, and what we really like to do is empower the trainer on those sessions. So actually allowing them to take control of the screen, share their screen, and we guide them through the system, a heuristic approach, a hands-on approach that allows them to already get comfortable in the user training session before they go live with their project. And we find that we have a lot of success with that approach. Ultimately, you want to narrow the gap. The purpose of the training is to narrow the gap between the training and going live, where you get good user buy-in and good user adoption to your system. And then going live, hopefully you have a bunch of happy colleagues that will be looking like that when you go live. And then the final thing that you're going to want to consider with a successful CRM project, or to ensure a successful CRM project, I should say, is that partner. Really think about what is that partner going to look like for us? Is it a good cultural fit? Here at GoVision, we really like to be that trusted business partner with a supportive relationship, to really help our clients be a sort of consultative approach to understanding not just what their CRM requirements are, but their business as a whole and their processes, and how they can better streamline those processes. We really wish to provide good value for their investment, making sure that their expectations through that whole selling process are met in the implementation and the post-implementation stages of their project. We really like to provide a powerful enterprise featured CRM, but one that is simple by design and easy to use and intuitive for the end users so that ultimately there's user acceptance and buy-in. And one that's scalable, thinking about, in the next 2 to 5, 10 years where that company might be and how many more users might be added, how many more teams. Having a simple CRM that's quickly able to scale with your business, that's what we wish to provide to our clients. So I really do hope that I was able to clarify some things, or maybe have you see things in a different light and provide some insights as to what you should be thinking about when you are shopping around for a CRM and wanting to do plan a project. Please feel free to get in touch with me. I always appreciate a LinkedIn connection or an email sharing your thoughts or insights, or if you have any questions. More than happy to carry on the conversation with you from this webinar. Also, please subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can get more great videos about GoVision and a little bit more about our business and what our service is like. And please also follow our LinkedIn page where you can stay abreast to news about our company. So thank you again, and I wish you a good rest of your day, and talk to you later. Bye for now.